as well. Finally, the Iran nuclear deal appears to be back on the table after President Trump ripped up the deal in 2018. Negotiations are currently underway to prevent Iran developing nuclear capabilities, but the door has come ajar again. In recent days, the United States have returned their response to a proposal which the Iranians are now carefully considering in Tehran. The chief of the Israeli intelligence service, Mossad, however, has said that the deal is, and I quote, very bad for Israel. However, there are also concerns that if Iran develops nuclear weapons, it could spark a nuclear arms race across the Middle East. Well, joining me now is the Conservative Member of Parliament, Stephen Crabb, former member of the government, but also in this context, crucially, chair of the Conservative Friends of Israel. Always good to see you, Steve. Thank you for finding time for us. The fear in Israel is palpable. It's political, it's military, and it's Mossad.
You're absolutely right, Alistair. And I had the opportunity to visit Israel earlier in the summer. A real sense of foreboding among some of the senior military figures and political people we spoke to, a sense almost of it's a question of when, not if, Iran acquires a nuclear weapon capability. And I would just say in this context, Alistair, it's not just Israel where there is a sense of fear. Earlier in the year, I went to the Gulf states, speaking to a number of political people in the Gulf. They also share these concerns. Our allies in the Emirates, in Bahrain, in Saudi Arabia, do not want to see Iran take this final step from being a nuclear threshold power to actually having the capability at its hands with all of the destructive force that we know it would be willing to use.
Yeah, you're describing a potentially enormously potent alliance there. The State Department, Tony Blinken, says that Iran has made important concessions to progress this conversation. Is Israel getting full sight of those alleged concessions?
I'm sure they are. As far as we are concerned, people in my position who sit on the backbenches in Parliament, we are far from seeing all of the details. And there's lots of rumours and briefing and counter-briefing around what may or may not be in the emerging text. What we do know is that for more than a year now, the Iranian regime has been playing a cat and mouse game, been stringing these talks along. And really, at times, you get the sense that they've been laughing at the Western alliance and really not taking their responsibility seriously. Certainly, the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, who've got the role of investigating exactly what Iran is getting up to with its nuclear program, he's expressed concern after concern about the posture of the Iranians, the fact that Iran isn't giving him full sight of their infrastructure and what they're getting up to.